So, as we all know, every action has a reaction. Every election is going to have consequences. Now that the Zoran Mandami election is over, he's going to be mayor. There's no point in really complaining about it. What's done is done. So now let's go ahead and look down the road and see where things are going and how we can predict what's going to happen. And we might as well just get to the point where we can say, okay, let's look at the pros and the cons. A lot of people, like myself included, have been focused solely on the cons because if you're an immigrant like my family to the United States, you ran from a communist country. You know what that means. But the people in America do not. They're not necessarily the brightest or the most educated. They don't study history, which ultimately means we will collectively be doomed to repeat it. So there are some there are some pros, however, of a Mondami victory in the New York City area. One of those is going to be an increase in marriages. We all know that this will now create a magnet for Islam and Muslim people to go to New York. Also, a black population from around the country that doesn't believe in working, they are going to want to move to New York. People who don't necessarily care about freedom, they just want free stuff. New York will be their new home. Los Angeles, where I live in downtown LA, used to be the home because you could just send your homeless populations to LA. They'll feed them. The state government will give them money. They can just live out on the streets. We have great weather. So we enable the behavior. But also, that is the homeless people also vote. And guess who they're going to vote in favor of? Whoever's buttering their toast, whoever's giving them money, whoever's funding their programs so that they can get their drugs, etc. That's who they're going to support, which is 100% of the time Democrats. There'd be no point for a homeless person to support a conservative because we believe in working and taking care of ourselves. So when you look at the who's going to be the most affected by a Mandami election, it's going to be the women. So we're going to look at the progress of where things are going, and we're going to explain how we got to here. You know, you love to see it sometimes because people have to experience the consequences of their own actions. This is a woman in New York on a subway. She was likely a strong supporter of Black Lives Matter, defund the police. 100% sure she voted for Mandami. But right now, she's wishing she had not. She's actually wishing she had a boyfriend or a husband. See, the way it's been in the United States for the past 30 years, there's been a really false sense of security because women could just call the police to the point where women were literally telling me that, well, Rico, what do women need men for besides money? And I'm like, well, women didn't used to marry men for money. Women used to marry men for protection. See, you need a big, strong man to keep other men from taking stuff from you or from going upside your head when you get out of line. You would need a husband, or if you didn't have a husband, your father or your brothers would surround you. But those women also were kept in the house, they're sheltered. I've been to Muslim countries. That's why when you go out in public in Muslim countries, 95% of the time, all you see are men. Go on YouTube, watch a video. When you're looking at videos or documentaries in other countries that are Muslim countries, you're always going to only see the men because men know that other men are dangerous and women are weak. We feel sorry for women to the point that we protect them. But the culture in the United States, due to the media, due to Hollywood, has convinced us that women are strong. don't need men's protection. They don't need men's help. So now, once the police are going to be removed from the public, well, then who's going to stop men from kicking these women's asses? The answer is nobody. And this video right here proves it. But Rico, how did we get here? Well, we're going to take a trip down memory lane till about a week ago. This is, and this is why once women lose their right to vote, we're never giving it back to them. They forfeited that privilege. This is why women should not vote and should not be allowed anywhere near politics at all. You can't trust them to even vote in what's best for themselves. They just vote. They're followers in nature. They're going to just follow what other women tell them to do, which makes no sense. That means you're not even able to critically think for yourself. So you're not really voting for yourself. Somebody else is controlling your vote. Now, these are women. They look Somalian, or they could be Habesha, but they're probably Somalian. They already got their hair wrapped. They left a Muslim country to come to the United States. And now here they are celebrating Muslim values, being actually following them, coming here, the values they left. They want to see it here. But let's be honest. Are all Muslim values bad? Is this what it's going to take to restore family to the United States public? Is this what we're going to need to increase the marriage rates, decrease the divorce rates, increase the childbirth rates that are collapsing? Is this what it's going to be required to return traditionalism to the United States? Have we went so far left that it's going to take a communist Muslim invasion to bring our country back to the center where women understand that they need men for protection and traditional values can make a return to our households? If so, then so be it. Because I'm trying to think, which one do I prefer? Would I prefer Muslim values, which promote traditionalism and family, or the Christian values where even gays and pedophiles can be pastors at church, and women, and anything goes, everything goes, and to hell with tradition? I'll be honest, I miss tradition. I was raised traditional. The fabric of this country's stability was based in traditionalism. We've lost that. And now it's going to take a communist invasion in New York. Basically, and all this is being controlled by the globalists. And if you didn't know, the globalists are the ones at war with the Zionists. That's why you see the globalists are now promoting Nick Fuentes. He's being boosted everywhere. That's not natural. He's been around for years. It's because there's a war. And right now, the Zionists are on the ropes. What the Zionists did to Charlie Kirk, it backfired. They thought they had to because they know that there's a fight. And they thought they were going to have one of their biggest soldiers, which was Kirk, defect and go to the other side against them. And they'd rather just neutralize them. But they went too far. It showed that they were weak. It shows that they're scared. And it shows that they're not all powerful. The globalists are now going to bring in the third world, which is the Muslim world and the African world. Newsflash, they're all conservatives. Muslims are conservative. Africans are conservative. Everyone around the world is conservative for the most part. There's very few people that are going to be okay with the liberal stuff, the gay stuff, the trans. Don't get me wrong. The globalists are pushing the trans agenda. The Zionists push the gay agenda. That's why those two agendas, because you would think, well, they're all gay, right? Wrong. They are not all the same. They're two completely different agendas. They're going to push the trans agenda without pushing the gay agenda for a reason. That's all a part of the globalist agenda. If you know who the World Economic Forum is, and Klaus Schwab and Noel Yuval Harari and the rest of them, there's a certain type of worldview that they have, but you can't have two. We can't have their worldview plus the Zionist worldview. One's going to have to go. The Zionists are on their way out. Knowing that this is coming, and everyone's now going to be conservative, and even if they don't claim to be conservative because they want to get the free benefits of living in these cities, They're going to live conservative. So again, these are women celebrating the Mamdani win.
Her name is Mamdani. M-A-M-D-A-N-I. Her name is Mamdani. M-A-M-D-A-N-I.
Now, these women are celebrating. Now, when you ask these women, why, what are you celebrating? They can't really tell you because they don't know. They're followers. They can't explain to you what they're going to get from this. What everyone's thinking they're going to get is this: free rent and free food because they don't want to work. And they think that government social services will just take care of them the way it was done back during the lockdown years of 2020, 2021, 2022. But they're going to be in for a surprise. But will they? We don't know. Everything he's claiming he's going to be able to do, a mayor doesn't have the power to do. But these are women celebrating him winning.
Sharia law starts now.
She says Sharia law starts now. Now, the black woman right here has no idea what that word even means, but she's celebrating. She's also going to say the Islamic Caliphate. Also, the black woman has I back here has no idea what that even means. She's never said the word caliphate. She doesn't know how to pronounce it, doesn't know what it means. This woman right here in the front, she does, because I'm wondering maybe if that's why she's wearing a hat already, because she's preparing for what's coming. So you don't have any idea why you're happy. You're just happy because you think your parents are mad. But why would your parents be mad? They don't even probably live in New York. Like, none of us live there. A lot of us are just reporting from the outside looking in because we do understand that if it starts in New York, it can easily spread to other cities, which is not going to be good for business. Even though we're going to have a return of traditional values, the money's out the window. These Muslim countries, they don't have tons of commerce and business. They're not, it's not good for business. But again, these women are celebrating Islamic Caliphate and Sharia law.
In the day starts with Dick Cheney.
None of them can tell you what him winning means for them, but I can. See, this right here is a lesbian woman who is crying in other videos because she doesn't have a man to protect her. She's been a lesbian for 30 something years. And now that she came face to face with her decision, there's men now that are in women's locker rooms and she's begging for men to come save her. She's screaming for help for men to come help her. She no longer wants to be a lesbian. This is what happens when law enforcement can't do anything about this anymore. The waters are too muddy. So now who's going to protect you? See that false sense of protection when it's gone, when there's no more police around to make you feel like you're safe? You have no one to lean on except a husband, a father, or a brother. And guess what? The reason that the father used to give you away to a man is because now you're his responsibility. Because it's a real task saving women from themselves because they make a lot of very idiotic decisions daily, like celebrating Mandami, but then crying when there's no men around to save you. See, there's a man right there sticking up for her. She can't stick up for herself.
Ever.
She's crying. She cannot protect herself, and this is the first time I guess she's ever felt helpless. And now she's finally understanding why women need men. There's going to be less police under a Mamdani presidency, and the ones that do stay on the force, they know the mayor's office is itching to fire them. So if they try to arrest somebody who's black, if you try to arrest anyone who's a person of color or anyone who's gay, you're losing your job in New York. Bottom line, because those are the people that put these people in power. Those are the people that don't want to work and want communism. They are going to protect Mamdani with their lives. They are going to be entrenched around them. There is no removing him. There's no fighting with him. That's over. The police are done. And people are like, well, Rico, he never said he's going to defund the police. He's been talking about it for years. This is another video. A $6 billion budget for a city of, what is it, 10, 12 million? That's nothing. That's not even, actually, the budget is short. With that many people, there's going to be a lot of crime. And it's actually, there's what's 5 different boroughs. It's a big city. And he wants to remove $1 billion or more from that budget. Then do you know what that means? There won't be any police around to come save you anymore. You better have a husband, or you better get the fuck out of the city. So that's how we got to where we are now. This is what I mean by marriages are going to come back from the dead. Women are going to admit that they need men, and this is going to raise the marriage rates in America, because less and less you're going to be able to lean on police, because all around the country, the police can no longer arrest or touch anybody of color. I've been watching videos from different states and different cities. When the criminal's black, they literally have to call for a black officer to show up because they're afraid to touch the person, engage with them, arrest them, even shoot back at them. They have to call someone black. So that means the police are neutered. That's it. There is no more. You can't even do your job without risking getting fired. So that's over. So this is what you're going to have to expect if you're a woman. Now you're going to see a guy right here, a white man with a polo shirt on. This woman's not white. She's not under his protection. She is not his wife. And we all remember what happened to Daniel Penny when he stood up and he subdued a black man that was on the train threatening to hurt people. They literally tried to put him in jail for the rest of his life. He was exonerated, but they took him and he had to sit in prison for how long? What were the consequences? The rest, now there are men on this train. There are men all around. Look, let's see here. Look, they're all watching. Look back here. These are males watching him, this bigger dude, gang up on one woman and want to go through her bag. This is in front of everyone. And nobody, black, white, Mexican, not one person's gonna help. She shouldn't have been out in public in New York City. Now, the thing is this, people are saying, well, Rico, the subways were dangerous before Mamdani. That's not my point. My point is it's going to now be worse. If you think they're bad now, how about when there's less police and less enforcement? All of this is making sure that you are defenseless. These women are going to start getting their asses handed to them more and more often. And there's nothing they can do about it except one thing. These women are all going to have to find husbands. They are going to need a husband, not for money, because remember, this is communism. Everyone's equally poor. They're going to need a husband for protection, because when another man approaches her and he wants to either fight her or do something else to her, without a husband, she's defenseless. And women are smaller, they're weaker, they don't have the same body mass, muscle mass. Don't let these movies fool you. These women are basically just walking victims. After this interaction, she's going to find a husband. There's nothing. This is going to be all over New York, not just for women, also for anyone who's white, unless you're white but you're gay. If you're a straight white person, you should get out of the city now. If you look white, get out of the city now. Run. These people are coming for you. You, in your mind, you have a normalcy bias. You think everything's going to be okay. You think if you put up a BLM sign in front of your store, or if you virtue signal hard enough, these are mobs. These are going to be mobs of people. They are going to be thirsty at the mouth. Remember, they already blame white people for all their problems. So you're going to see increases, especially when they know if the victim is white, nothing's going to happen to them. Oh, it's open season. It's a wrap. So that's happening. But the women who voted for this, they are going to have to stay in New York. But if you want to stay in New York, you're going to have to follow traditional Sharia Islamic rules. One of the first rules, a man has to be there to protect you. But for a man to properly protect you, there must be a level of control. Women are going to learn to be more traditional going forward, because it from what I can tell, this push for Islam to now take over our country the way it has Europe, this is all through the globalists. Once the Zionists are out of the way, there is nobody to stop this. You think Trump has the balls to do what it takes to stop any of this? No. Trump doesn't even have the stomach for the amount of violence it will require to put an end to this takeover. He's not built for that. Trump's the kind of a guy that he wants people to like him. To fight what is coming, we're going to need a leader that wants people to fear him. We're going to need like a Joe Arpaio. A Trump, he wants to get along with everybody. Remember, he was a Democrat until he ran as a Republican. So that's a lot of that's in him. He does want people to like him. Where we're going right now, people liking you has to be the last thing you're worried about. You got to be worried about stability and also keeping our country under the control of Americans. Now, Trump declared years ago that we will not be controlled by the globalists and our country will stay in the hands of patriots. I don't think the Israel lobby that controls our country, I don't think they're American patriots. MAGA is now MEGA, make Israel great again. So we've already lost that end of it. Now we're just America first. But with this push for Islam, if no one's going to have the balls to stop it, well, what are the upsides of it? Family will be restored. Women will be back with men. They will be at home. They're not going to be dressing provocative, dressing sexy. Because when the rapists are running around, there's not going to be anyone to stop them. It's already happening on these subways right now. People are being raped in front of people and walking away. They don't have enough police. Now there's going to be even less. There's no one coming to save you. Superheroes don't exist. The best thing you can do to protect yourself and your family is make sure you have a man, to make sure you have a husband. Once you see enough videos like this where women are getting men going upside their heads and kicking that ass, putting belt to ass, these women will find men to be with who can fight for them and protect them. Because right now, this woman's alone. And again, you see the men sitting right here. They're just watching. Because why would he risk his life and his freedom to protect a woman that doesn't even think she needs a husband, doesn't appreciate men, said that, she voted for this. So, and I'm reading the comments because this is on my right-wing Rico page on Instagram. And somebody put a picture of a woman pepper spraying a guy. The problem is he's that close to you. Even if he's blind, if he can reach you with his bare hands, a man of that size could kill a woman with his bare hands, and there'll be nothing she could do about it. He could literally just strangle the life out of her. It'd take less than a minute. Somebody else said, poke him in the eyes. Again, he doesn't need to be able to see to choke the life out of you or to beat you. And people are saying, yeah, not one man stepped in. It's not their job. It's not my job. It's not our job anymore. These are women who don't want men. It's not our job to protect you. It's not the police's job to protect you either. It's going to be your husband's job. This will restore traditionalism in the United States. It's crazy for Christian values to come back and be reinforced. We're going to have to go through a Muslim communist takeover. But one thing about the Christian value is love thy neighbor. That's not a Muslim thing. So don't expect them to jump in and try to save your ass. If they see a man jumping on you, they're going to say, well, he probably had a good reason. The woman is your property. That's how it's always been. People don't like when I say that, but until probably when did welfare start? The 70s? Till the 70s, a woman was looked at as a man's property. That's why men would go to war and die to protect women. Men would work our asses off and be slaves pretty much and come home and bring all our money back to a household where a woman gets to just stay in the kitchen all day. In my opinion, that's slavery. Because she doesn't got to work, I got to work. That's slavery. I'm slaving I'm a workhorse. Men are workhorses. See, I'm not my father. I'm not a woman's workhorse. I'm not doing it. I take care of myself and my dogs. I don't want to slave for some woman that's just going to take me for granted and not appreciate what I'm doing. That's going to all change now. Somebody else put, not one man on that metro stepped up to protect that young woman. Shameful. And it's only going to get worse with Mamdani as mayor. Why is it that we all know this, but the women celebrating this are too dim to see where this is going?
I'm so happy.
Why are these women so slow? How is it that everybody else knows where this road leads except these women? And don't forget, it was the women that voted for him, and the reason he won is because of these women. How is it that they don't understand what they're asking for and what they're going to get? Everybody else knows. And then everybody keeps saying all those boys and no men. What is happening? No context given at all. Doesn't matter. There's a man in a woman's face and nobody jumped up to separate them or tell him to chill out. Why would they? For one thing, if you're black in New York, you're a protected class. You see what they did to Daniel Penny when it was him defending other women on the train, older women. Choked the guy to subdue him, trying to make sure the guy woke up. The guy passed away. He wasn't trying to kill the guy. He was trying to protect people. But there will never be another Daniel Penny again, not in New York. No one's going to be willing to throw their life away and risk their freedom for what? If this woman gets beat up and knocked out or hurt, I mean, what does that got to do with you? Was she thinking about that when she voted for Mamdani? Did she vote for Mamdani? Of course she did. They all did. I haven't met many women that ever voted in their own self-interest. Like when we go back to the woman that's a lesbian here, she voted for Kamala, but here she is screaming about trans and how they shouldn't be in a woman's locker room. But now you sound like Trump. You sound like a Trump supporter. You voted for Kamala, but you're over here begging for Trump policies because women do not think for themselves. They're not smart enough to see what they are doing or where they're going. I'm from LA. I see so many women lost. And I don't know what to tell them. They have no man. There's no man coming to say, you know what? Here's a nice warm kitchen for you. Come inside. Go ahead and put your bags over here. I'm going to pay the bills. I'm going to take care of you. You go in there and make me a sandwich, okay? You come clean up this house. You make this house a home, and I'm going to take care. There's no one coming for these women. My friend last night, beautiful girl, but she's 15 years too old. You know, I met her 15 years ago in her prime. That's when she should have took a husband, and a man would have kept her even after she got old because he wants to be loyal to her. She played around. Every time she gets with a guy now, he finds out about her body count and her history. He's with her for a couple of months until it comes time for you to introduce her to your parents or until it comes time for you to hold her hand in public. And then all the guys that used to hit that are snickering at you. Now you want to break up. Now she can't find nobody. Now she's stressed to death. Stressed beyond stress. It's not just her. It's a lot of women like that. There's no man coming to take care of you and protect you. There's nobody. Why would we do that? We can literally just get a passport and go find women that love us. And why would we be dumb enough to bring them back over here to the States? This is where we work. We live somewhere else now. I'm looking at all these women. She's one of them. She's lost. She didn't think about these things in advance. These women don't think. They vote. She voted in favor of all this trans nonsense. The Wee Spa incident was almost 5 years ago when a woman walked in the Wee Spa and said, yo, this guy's walking around doing the helicopter with his wee-wee in the women's section. Where were you at, Ms. Lesbian, that protested? You know who showed up? Antifa. At Wee Spa in downtown LA on 6th. I flew into California and I went there that day trying to catch some of those Antifa people. But guess how many people were trying to do what? Nobody. Nobody cared. And now it's too late. The best advice I can tell you is get a husband, but you're going to learn you need a husband soon enough anyway. Once you can't ride that subway by yourself, you're going to need a man with you to go outside. You're going to need a man with you to go to the store because you might get raped or you might get beat up on the way to the store, and there ain't a goddamn police officer that's going to come save you. There's nobody. The only person that's going to give a damn about you besides your dad is your husband. You better go get one if you can get one. But you know what that means? You're going to have to change how you dress, change how you talk, change how you act. You're going to have to change everything about yourself to get a husband. Or you're dog meat. Or every time you step out that door, there's a higher chance you might not come back through that door the same woman. You should look at the UK. They have something called grooming gangs. That's already happening over here. They call it trafficking. And there's nothing these women can do to really stop it. They can't protect themselves. You're in New York. You don't have a weapon. And these are men. You watch those movies, you think you're about to do some badass kung fu and shoot gun, man, that's fake. It's nonsense. Somebody slap the dog shit out you and grab you. There's nothing you can do about it. You're going to need a husband. So if that's what it's going to take to raise the marriage rates with all these confused liberal women, then you know what? So be it. Let me know your thoughts. Like and subscribe. I see the comments. I'm going to address them all. Let me know what you think. I'll be back on in about 20 minutes with another live. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you again shortly. Shout out to our sponsor, cosigning.com. If you're looking to move, but you don't have a friend or a family member willing to be your cosigner, Our friends at cosigning.com can match you with a qualified cosigner in 1 to 2 days. That way you can get qualified for your dream home. So thank you, cosigning.com, for sponsoring this live, and I'll see you again shortly. Cheers.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.